Good afternoon, UTYEC squad. My name is Joe Posada, and I'm one of the assistant directors here for the UT Youth Engagement Center here in Dallas. So today we're actually going to go ahead and go over some writing skills, specifically writing your UT essay and resume. Just know that this is definitely for students that are interested for UT, but more importantly, you can also adapt this to any institution that you're applying to that may require an application, and not only an application but an essay to supplement or to support that application. So just know that we're going to give you some tidbits of information here and there, and then also just go a little bit over the importance of the resume and the role that it plays. So again, and then also on our Google Classroom, we also have additional information that we'll drop in from our Vivo Bootcamp. We had a great presenter over our writing, an essay, and some exercises and what have you. We've broken those down into segments. So now that we'll also link that to that in this presentation on here. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below or to send us an email, and then we can go from there. Okay. So, understanding the UT essay topic. So, what are the essay topics? So know that as an incoming freshman, so I know all of you are going to be juniors right now, but as you're thinking of, UT as you're either one of your top schools to apply to, or just thinking other institutions that you may be interested in, the essay is going to play a key role really in your application process, because oftentimes it gives us a different perspective of who you are as a student. Because obviously your application is going to tell us so much, your transcript is going to tell us so much. So the essay is going to give us a little bit more insight of who and what you are, your writing style, and ultimately, depending on the topic itself, that's going to give you more insight about you as a student as well. So, as you're thinking again, as you're preparing for your senior year to look at what all you need to do, typically the essay topic for UT is going to be topic A, and you'll find this on Applied Texas, and we can also you'll see this on this presentation, and then we can, if you want to start working on them, we can definitely help you with that as well. And then essentially that topic is tell us your story. What unique opportunities or challenges have you experienced throughout your high school career that have shaped who you are today? So as you can tell, this is kind of a little broad topic. So this gives you a lot of white space for you to kind of like fill it in with who and what you are as an individual, as a person, as a human being, right? And the experiences that you've had over your high school career, and that ultimately molded you and shaped you into who you are. And so I think this is a very neat topic, because it allows you to give us a little bit more, more insight about who and what you are as well. Typically, the essays are going to range anywhere between 500 to 700 words. And so this is typically 2 to 3 paragraphs, and then on Applied Texas, when you submit it, you won't have much of a formatting to do single space, double space, and all that good stuff. So, I definitely recommend you to work this on Google Docs or on Microsoft Word, and then you'll just copy and paste this over to Apply Texas as you're working on that during your senior year. But at least for now, because you won't be able to start on your Applied Texas, I would definitely encourage you to create this document, offline or in a Google Docs, so like that you have it and start making those, training yourself to get into the habit of writing essays, because these essays can also help you with your scholarship applications as well. Um, and then also we have a college admissions essay checklist and activity workshop that you can check out on onyourfuture.com. And so it is going to give you like it's a PDF, a one pager of a little bit more information and some tidbits. And I'll definitely provide that as well in the Google Classroom for you. So when it comes down to writing, the nitty gritty, the essay writing, you'll always want to make sure that you're answering the prompt. And I think this is the first and foremost important piece of advice. Just because it's important for you to to write something, and then also you have a endpoint, especially addressing what the topic is. And so I think this is definitely going to be one of the key things that if you're able to answer the topic, you're going to be in a really, really good position. While you're answering this topic, you also want to make it personal. Again, this is for us, you're not going to get a grade for it. Although we are going to take a look at it to see, again, because it's going to be supporting and then also just backing your application up. Again, we're getting to see and to know you a little bit better, because grades are only going to tell us so much. Your application is going to tell us so much. So this essay is really going to give us, the insight of who and what you are again. You definitely want to make sure that you're checking, spelling and grammar, any errors on that. So, with today's day and age and technology, you have Microsoft Word that can be able to help you through that. Grammarly is really another AI service that that's free as well that you can use. So those things just to kind of like keep track of your spelling and grammar and what have you. You also want to make your essay engaging and unique to who you are, because again, we want to, if especially for those that enjoy writing, You may be able to you be a great storyteller, so get us to bring us into your world and who and what you are. And then for the rest of us, like myself, that not that I didn't like writing, but I always found myself like, I mean, I was a decent writer. I am a decent writer, but it takes me like a while to get into like in the mood to actually write. And so if you're like myself, you definitely at least want to put your ideas on, brainstorm them, and then also put them on paper so like that you can start figuring connecting them and see how can it make it more engaging. And then also ultimately making it unique that we know that this paper, like, oh, this is who Joe Posada is. Right. You also want to write about all of your positive attributes. So this is like, things about you, like if you're a good communicator, good listener, you're, I know that a couple times when I write, I try to say like, oh, I like to think big, think outside of the picture sometimes and whatnot. But translating that into paper, sometimes I struggle with that. And so the neat thing is that as you're writing this paper and you're needing help, you can always let us know, or rather this essay, we can definitely help you, kind of guide you in the right direction to get you where you need to be. And then not only with writing about the positive attributes that you have, but then also how you can contribute to the university or what you bring to the table, right? And then oftentimes, I'll tell you this right now: each and every single one of you brings something to the table, and there's a beauty of it. Each and every single one of you has a story to share, and so the more that we're able to know that story, your story, it gives us a better picture of again who and what you are, but then also what you're bringing to the institution. Because oftentimes we definitely want you we're wanting students like yourselves at our campus. Myself, when I was in your shoes, I was, first gen student. My parents, are immigrants, come from Mexico, born and bred here in South Oak Cliff. And so all of those things, as I was writing my essays, I realized like, man, what am I bringing to the table? Well, that was just it, because of all of those things that, that I represent, or that I didn't know that I represented, right? Or the things that the institution was looking for as well, to be able to bring diversity on campus, and bring different perspectives and experiences and what have you. So that's one thing to know, that your story matters, and your story, you can embed that in your essays as you're working through them, not only for application but also for scholarships. And then also, and I think some things to keep in mind is ensuring that you have a strong intro, transition from point, and a conclusion, right? Which is like your basic um, essays, one-on-ones and what have you. So just having that up there. Once you're working on these essays and whatnot, again, because you're a junior, I would definitely recommend you have a Microsoft Word document of it loaded up to Google Drive, or have a Google Docs up and running. Or if you have, a flash drive that you use, or external hard drive, make sure that you're saving it somewhere, so you can easily access it and what have you. Because when it comes down to it, your senior year, you'll be able to upload it, use this essay, what have you. Just have to adapt it, make some changes maybe, and what have you. But you'll be able to. We have, like, if you're not able to submit it through your Apply Texas once you become a senior, we have a system called the document upload system, where you'll be able to actually upload these essays to get you up and running to the Office of Admissions. And again, this process is not unique to UT. Most institutions are going to have something similar. So first and foremost, I think the easiest way and most efficient way to be able to submit your essay is going to be through your Apply Texas, for sure. But you could always submit it through this document upload system, and then the last resort is mailing your essay, through snail mail. Like, you mail it, put it in the post office, and then it'll arrive 2 to 3 business days and what have you. So if that's ultimately the last thing that you end up doing, great. No biggie, but we definitely encourage you to submit it online. Just makes it a little bit easier for you, but also for our admissions team. On top of writing your essay, and your essay giving us more in depth of who you are, your resume does a little bit the same thing. So your resume, you want to include all these achievements, that you've achieved, right, throughout your freshman through senior year. Right now, if you don't have a resume right now, this is a great time to start putting it together. So like, you still remember some of the things you did your freshman and sophomore year, but then also what you're working on your junior year, and then what you hope to work on your senior year as well. So you'll see, as you're working on your Applied Texas, you'll see that you may not necessarily be able to fit everything in on there, and that's perfectly fine. You'll just do what you can, put it on Applied Texas, or you'll just have it on your resume, or what we call our expanded resume, that is going to include, the extracurricular activities, any internships, job opportunities, any summer activities, or anything that you've done like of that nature. And so, if that's the case, just start putting it on a resume. So again, save it on a Google Doc, email it to yourself on a Google, save it on the Google Drive or on a flash drive, external drive. And then again, like, this resume is gonna help us, again, learn more about yourself as well. Like, oftentimes, again, academics is not going to tell us, or your transcript or your essay may not necessarily tell us everything that you've been involved in, right? And so the resume is going to be a quick highlight of everything that you've done. And then oftentimes you can always follow up with, many any letters of recommendation and what have you as well. And again, in your resume, you want to include details about what each activity you're involved in, rather than a general description. So it's like, oh, I was involved in Rotary Interact. Rotary Interact was X, Y, and Z. You want to more include, like, I was involved in Rotary Interact, where on my campus we did, uh, we did a book drive, and then we did a backpack drive or back to school drive, where we created 100 backpacks, or put together 100 backpacks for students that were in middle school, what have you, things like that. So it gives us a little bit more, because often, I mean, I can look at what Rotary Interact, or I already know what that is, or what LULAC is, or what student government does. But we want to know specifically what exactly did you do within those, because that gives us a better picture. Like, okay, these are the extracurricular activities that you're involved in. And and again, just a tad bit, just another side note is, include the numbers of hours per week and weeks per year you spend on each activity. So again, if you were involved in, LULAC for 2 years, I mean, you met every week for 2 hours. So that's, you met every week 2 hours. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 8 hours a month or what have you. And then so you'll do 2 hours per week. And then how many weeks per year did you meet and what have you. So it just gives us a little bit perspective to see also your community service and what have you on there. For your resume, also, you definitely, we encourage you with some writing tips. Keep it concise. You want to focus on depth and length of commitment. Again, we don't want just a regular, just a brief description and that's it. We want to, go a little bit in depth, because again, we'll know what type of student you are, again, as you're including these extracurricular activities or these organizations you're involved in. But it also helps to know what type of programming that you do. You want to provide detail whenever possible. Uh, Again, the resume is going to also give you an opportunity to writing things you weren't able to write about in your essay or your short answers, or even including your application. And so, you may have briefly talked about it, or we'll see in your application that you're involved, that you did a summer internship program and that you worked over the summer. But it may not let us that it was a mission trip, or it was, you were working for a Fortune 500 company and what have you. So those are things that are going to be important for you to include on there. Also, formatting is key. If you actually need a template for your resume, we'll provide one on the Google Classroom so you can see it. And so like that, you can have it. And so that outline or that format is going to be something that you just literally replace the information with your information. Is going to be something that what we look at through our admissions team. Our admissions team looks at and what have you. So it just puts you in a better position as well. And then last but not least, definitely want to be honest and accurate about the information you're providing. Because I don't know if you all have seen those memes where you lie on your resume and they ask you to do something you can't. Definitely that's something not that would happen, but just we want to make sure that you're providing the most accurate and most honest information on there as well. Um, so on top of the essay and the resume, some institutions, especially like UT, you'll have probably some short answer questions. And so these are some of the samples that you'll see on there. So again, these are not as lengthy as the essay. If you remember, the essay was roughly about 700 to 850 words. These are you're looking about 250 to 300 words. So roughly one paragraph versus 2 and 3 from the essay itself. And so again, some of these short answers could include, why are you interested in the major you indicated as your first major? So for example, if you're wanting to be an engineer or a business major, or public relations major, describe to us why, what caught your interest in that major and why you want to pursue it, right? So again, it gives us a little bit more insight of what your aspirations are and what have you through the major itself. The second short answer is, leadership can be demonstrated in many ways. Please share how you have demonstrated leadership in either your school, job, community, and or within your family responsibilities. So this is a great opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about, some of the leadership experience or leadership traits that you have and have you developed them. And oftentimes, when we think about leadership, you think like, oh, I had to be a president of an org or a VP. Not necessarily. Even being an active member of an organization, you develop these leadership skills and what have you. And oftentimes, sometimes we may not have been able to be involved on campus because we have familial responsibilities. And if that's the case, then you're still developing those, because teaching your younger siblings, caring for them and what have you, or even older siblings and what have you. So they're just something to keep in mind. And that's what this short answer two encompasses. And then the last short answer question that's required for you team is, please share how you believe your experiences, perspectives, and or talents have shaped your ability to contribute to and enrich the learning environment at UT Austin, both in and out of the classroom. So again, this is kind of similar to the essay question about your experience and what have you. Again, each and every single one of you has a story to share, and this is where you're able to kind of draw on that story that you have and those experiences, your background, where you're from, where you come from, and then all of that can be written in a way where you kind of like answer this question and even the essay. So I think that's something important for you to keep in mind as you're brainstorming and what have you. And then we also have an optional short answer, which is please share background on events or special circumstances they may have impacted your high school academic performance. And I think for you all right now, you know you can look at one of those is COVID-19. Unfortunately, we're in a pandemic, right? And it looks like as time is progressing, it's still happening. It's still very much affecting our everyday lives, and so that is something that you can write about. This is something that you can actually expand about, write about it, and see how has it affected you academically at home and what have you. So these are some you. So again, all of us have that. All of us are experiencing this pandemic, and we're going through this together. And so there's something to keep in mind as you're writing that. And so when you're brainstorming, you want to make sure you're jotting down your ideas down. I do like a spider web type of exercise where I just put kind of like the like tidbits of the essay topic or the short answer that I have to ultimately answer, right? And then I just start drawing out little webs. Like, this is what I can talk about my family here. I can talk about my friends here. I can talk about my academics here, or certain experiences and what have you. And then what about my family? What about those experiences? And as you're going more in depth into that, you start realizing that, oh, like, this is where the content starts producing, or you can draw from to actually write that essay. So for me, it just helps extremely well. And I'm a visual person too, so I have a whiteboard where I just start writing that on there. So that kind of concludes, this kind of overview about essays, resume writing, what have you. It was very, very straightforward. But again, we will link other videos that we have over essay writing. Then some exercises, so in case you get writer's block, you're not able, like, oh man, I just can't quite draw out what I really need to write about. We had an amazing speaker over the summer for Viva Bootcamp, and they do an amazing job at kind of drawing that out from us. And so we'll post it on here as well. But in the meantime, if any other questions do come up, feel free to reach out to us, or you can always, if you look at the end of our this right here, to contact us. So you can always email any of us here, or you can also email us at our just general email, which is yecdallas@austin.utexas.edu. And then also you can follow us on social media there below. Or my name is Joe Posada. So if you want to just to connect and chat, you can always email me here, joe@austin.utexas.edu, or just send me a text message via our Google phone number, and then we can go from there. So again, thank you all for tuning in. If you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out to us, comment below, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much, and hook 'em.